The Green Bay Police Department really wants to put out an update to the incident that occurred this afternoon. I can tell you that officers will be on scene behind me for an extended period of time processing the crime scene. So to recap from what happened today, at approximately 11 o'clock this morning, officers had located a vehicle known to have the person inside that vehicle being wanted for several charges by the Green Bay Police Department and the Brown County Sheriff's Office. Knowing that intel, officers tried to stop that vehicle, in which they engaged in a vehicle pursuit. During that pursuit took them to the location here on Walnut near Maple, in which they conducted a pursuit intervention technique, a pit maneuver, on which they were able to stop that vehicle. And following that pit maneuver, officers then encountered a male suspect with a gun. That male suspect shot at our officers, and the officers then returned fire. 3 officers were involved in this shooting. No one was hurt, including the officers and the suspect. Due to protocol, those officers contained that suspect. We deployed more officers to that area, and you can see that we have the armored vehicle, the Bearcats there. The Bearcats were able to contain that suspect vehicle and that suspect. There was a standoff for a period of time in which officers, and we brought in our SWAT team and our crisis negotiators to establish a connection. Our most important thing in this situation is establishing that connection to de-escalate that situation. When they de-escalate that situation, they were able to make contact with that individual, and over an extended period of time, they were able to convince that male to exit the vehicle and safely surrender for everybody's safety. So once that suspect is now in custody, the officers, no one was injured in this incident, including the suspect. They did recover one weapon at the scene that was fired by the suspect at the officers. And now the investigation is trying to understand why this incident occurred. Officers and the detectives, our forensics unit, will be on scene here behind us for an extended period of time, establishing that crime scene. That crime scene is behind us, and really determining and collecting all physical evidence. The cars have evidence on them of the shooting. There's evidence in the roadway, and officers and detectives will be processing that crime scene for an extended period of time. The investigation is only a couple hours old, and we are not ready to release the identity of the suspect at this time or the charges that he is wanted for.
3 police officers involved in the shooting. Did all 3 fire their weapons?
That is my understanding, yes.
So I'm guessing they're being placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation?
Well, there's critical incident protocols that the police department has that we will follow. Those officers will be on administrative assignment while this occurs. It's very preliminary at this time to tell. The chief has that authority, and he'll determine what's best for the course of the investigation.
How many shots were fired by the suspect?
We don't know that yet at this time.
Tell us how law enforcement was able to get them out of the vehicle.
So in a situation where they come in contact with an individual that is refusing to come out of a house, a dwelling, a car, we have crisis negotiators assigned to the SWAT team, and they're trained to establish a connection and try to use any possible resource for a safe surrender. And crisis negotiators did an outstanding job to establish that connection, a rapport, an ongoing dialogue during this incident to have him safely return. We wanted him to come out with everybody keeping himself safe and our officers safe.
Did he come out or did they go in? How did he come out?
He surrendered. He came out of the vehicle.
Was the nearby house evacuated?
So early on in the incident, our officers, once that scene was quickly contained to that area behind me, officers then went door to door. We went out and we knocked on doors. We put out a message via social media that this was going on for people either to shelter in place or to evacuate the area.
How long have police been looking for this subject?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Just to give us some, I don't know what you can reveal the suspect, but can you give us his race, ethnicity, or age, or anything like that?
I would just say male suspect at this time.
Why are you unable to release his identity, and do you know when you will?
You know, I can't put a timeline on it, but you know, the investigation's only a couple hours old. He's going to speak with detectives. I'm investigators are going to work through this as a critical incident, and we'll release the identity at a later date.
At one point, I overheard on dispatch that there was a pipe with wiring inside of the vehicle. They were trying to determine if it could have been a bomb.
That was part of the one of the resources that we did deploy. We have a working relationship with the Brown County Sheriff's Office, and they deployed their bomb squad out here, and officers did encounter a suspicious device on which the Brown County bomb squad did go in, make sure that that was a safe device so that there was no any unattended explosives or bombs in that car.
What was it?
I've not been briefed on what that was. I can tell you it's safe at this time.
Can you give any message to those? Because right now it seems like the inconvenience is just in traffic. Any message you want to send to some of the locals around here who are looking to get by on when this might be cleared? Because I know you said it's going to be a while for you guys to process. So any message you want to send to those?
We put out an alternative route of travel on our social media. We understand that we don't want to affect people's daily routes. Given the weather, it's going to be slippery outside, so if people can prepare, take a couple extra minutes and drive safely, knowing that this road will be closed for quite some time, they can plan and hopefully get to where they need to be safely.
Speaking with neighbors down over there, one thing one man kept telling me was, "I can't believe this. I can't believe this is happening in Greenbay." What would be your message to the community just on the situation and the situation with safety in the country?
Well, Greenbay is a very safe community. We have a lot of great employees of the police department, civilian sworn or non-sworn, civilian and sworn, that are dedicated to keeping this community safe. And we work very hard. One incident does not define a neighborhood. One incident does not define a city. And when people commit acts, our job is to hold people accountable. And we want to make sure when we hold people accountable, the officers are safe, the person's safe. So the message for the community is we're going to work very hard to keep this community safe, no matter what day of the week it is, and we're here 65 days a year.
Some of the witnesses, they said they heard on the radio, on the scanner, that the suspect was near like an overdose of drugs, had taken drugs, and that's the reason he was taken away in the ambulance. Can you confirm that? Is that true?
Well, it's too early to confirm that. In situations that we are presented with information, we have to validate that information. And when we had rescue personnel staged on both sides of this incident to make sure that people were safe, and if they do need medical attention, they got it very quickly as possible. So in this situation, we did get some information, and we want to make sure that that suspect was safe health-wise and not injured in this incident. So he was seen by medical staff after the incident when he was in custody.
Or was he taken to the hospital or taken to the police station?
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that.
Where did so the suspect was pursued by police before this pit maneuver? Where did that pursuit begin?
On the west side here in Green Bay.
Did he pass over this bridge at all?
I don't know the answer to that.
And do you know about how quickly he might have been driving?
I don't know the answer to that. Sorry. The best information I can tell you is that we won't release any more information until Monday at the earliest. If Monday, please don't think that's the drop dead date, but this is very preliminary information. The situation is now over. The crime scene will be processed, and then the investigation will follow. But the message to the community is thank you for your patience.